Är det live? Ja. Ska vi se om vi kan få in resten av folket. Ska vi köra? Vi har en sån här livestream på samtidigt. Så vi ser. Har du sett om någon har kommit in där? Inte än? Nej, kanske kommer. Det är som tryck, ja precis. Det är alla ska komma samtidigt. Det är som en cyberattack. Alla går samtidigt. Det är sån här DOD-attack. Jag ska bara vänta in folket där bakom också. Okej.
3 stycken är som kollar.
3 stycken. Ja, men det kanske kommer fler.
Nej, det är jag. Det kommer fler.
Yes. Väntar vi på Rickard.
Jaha, nej men.
Okay, so let's start. Is this a good position for me, Niklas? Thank you. This is the first time that we do this with the live streaming, so it's a little bit new with the technology for us. All right, welcome here. This event today is going to be in English, of course, because Nino hasn't been speaking much Swedish lately. Exactly 6 years ago today, March 2017, an email went out to the companies at Lindholmen Science Park. In Lindholmen back then, it was about 350 plus companies, and a lot of them was within the IT sector. Science companies, research and development, heavy companies. You had Volvo, Ericsson, Saab, Seft, and among others. And the email said that there was a security incident. I don't know if you remember this. Someone had walked around with the USB sticks, 64 megabytes with different really nice colors, and just went like this on different locations on cafeterias and stuff. And when they looked at the USB sticks, they could see that it contained a ransomware. And ransomware is, the one who kidnapped your hard drive or your files, and you have to pay something to get it back. So you have different ways to attack a company. You have the personal level, you have the processes within the company, and the technology. And this was an attack using the personal level, and they actually attacked using the human curiosity. So they say, okay, what is this? And it's green. What happens? In this particular case, it wasn't that bad because as the responsible cybersecurity person in Lindholmen, he looked at them and he said that they didn't even have an auto-run function. So you actually had to double-click the binary file to get the virus in. But cybersecurity is an important topic today within all companies. It's impossible for a company today to say, okay, we do this, but cybersecurity, no, that's not for us. So you have to address it in some way as a company. And if we look at what happened now, the last couple of months with the attacks on Swedish government, the Anonymous Sudan, I think the name was, and what happened to Coop a couple of years ago. And if you look at the war down in Ukraine, it's a cyber war going on, right side the physical war. So the cyber attacks are happening, and it's not going to decrease, it's going to increase with the digitalization. And most companies, what we see in the media is just the tip of the iceberg, because you, as a company, you don't want to say, oh, okay, we got hacked. You want to shield it, right? So for us at Contica, our mission is to work with information. We think that we can make a better society, better companies, by providing the right information at the right time in the right place. And to do that, to work with information, you need to do it in a secure way. So that's why we are really happy to have this new business area within cybersecurity, and with Nino as our head of cybersecurity. And I hope that you will enjoy this session. He's going to talk about API and how to use API to attack a company. And afterwards, we have an offering for all of you, the customers, with the half-a-day workshop, discovery workshop, where Nino goes in free of charge for 4 hours and talk to you and look at what area should you be focusing on. Is it technology here, or is it the personal level, or what is it? So that's something that Nino's going to tell you more about later. But Nino, please come up and give him a round of applause. And we're just going to switch the microphones, and I'm going to do like this for the cutting of the video later. It's not going to happen.
Everything is live.
We do live.
Yeah, but we're going to cut the video later.
Live effect.
But if you're, as a final note, if you're interested in this discovery workshop, please contact me or Nino or email us afterwards. So that one you need.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So, good morning and welcome to be here, and pleased to have you here this nice morning. This morning we are going to speak about cybersecurity. Is it working, this? Is okay? Can I? Yeah?
Yeah, you can use it.
Yeah?
The big button.
Okay. Okay, now it works. Okay. So let's start and dig with this first things. What I want to do this morning is giving you a lot of thinking. That is my goal this morning. I like to give you something to think about, some specific things about cybersecurity, especially this morning we will speak about API, which is something that a lot of companies are using around. Of course, something about myself before starting and digging in the session is what I do in life. I'm a hacker, so what I do, I attack things, which means solution companies, the things, and to look for vulnerability, exploit. Why I do that? Because this is the best way to actually understand if there is a problem, if actually there is a threat or something that must be solved, right? We are living in a world where you can see now cybersecurity is going to be a very hot topic. Why that? Because this, what you see here behind me. What you see here is the market for cybersecurity attack. You can actually buy cybersecurity attack. You don't need to be a hacker or a specialist about cybersecurity. You can buy it. This is how it actually happens. So what they do usually is because people they want to get advantage of your company or get information or other things or damage the company for the business, a competitor. It may happen, right? So what they do, they can actually even buy an attack. You can see some of the price here across some of them. So the interesting point about this slide is that if you look about the price of this attack, you can immediately spot the most used attack around. Like for instance, why ransomware is so common? Because it's very easy attack. You can see on the top here is $66 for a ransomware attack. So it's very cheap. It's very damaging. It's one of the worst attacks a company can face. But today we are going to look at what I'm going to give you is a real understanding how a hacker thinks, how this happened, why it's so dangerous, and how actually they work. Let's start with something very simple. Our world is made by address everywhere. Around, if you look around here, think about, there are a lot of things communicating all together right now. And each of them is an address. Think about an address, which is the IP address, like a house, which normally is a computer, is a service, is an endpoint. And for each endpoint, we have ports. Think about the house. The house is an address, is the IP address, is the street. And for each hole you have, windows, doors, or wherever, is a port. This is a hacker thing. That is the word from a hacker perspective. That's it. Nothing more than that. Let's look now and translate this simple concept to something bigger. What you know. You are working on this. We have different kind of area. We have on-premise. On-premise is where we actually host and company host, things, computer, appliance, all these things. And we also have software as a service, Office 365. We are using a lot of this. Mobile, computer. We have Internet of Things now, a lot. And also we have, of course, cloud technologies. All you see here, this is what I call today a modern perimeter. That is how it looks like today, with everything we have inside. What people don't know, not many people know about that, is today everything's changed. Things communicate together a lot. And how to do that? Now, they use a lot API, Application Program Interface. Right? This is some of the statistics. I can assure you not many people know that. And maybe some of you will be very surprised. But that's a very interesting point. Do you know 83% of all internet traffic everywhere in the world belong to API? So essentially, website, services, all these things, they communicate, they do things, website, but everything is actually communicating all together through API. So all traffic you see here around is belonging to API, which is quite interesting if you think about that, right? And 93% of API developers are still using REST, which is it's still a good technology, okay? But of course, now there are things evolving like Graph API. REST is already containing a lot of weakness. It's still containing a lot of weakness, but 93% of developers are actually using REST API. Right? How many of you know about the OWASP 10 API security threat? How many of you know about that? This is official. This is not something I created. This is official. This exists. What you see here, these are the 10 most vulnerable threats for API. This is from OWASP, is a consortium for cybersecurity. And all of you see here, there are all very bad kind of security threat in API. So what do you do in your infrastructure? I'm assuming you're using cloud also, or even, but for sure you're using API. How you are protecting your API? API management, maybe? WAF, Web Application Firewall, maybe? That's good. You have to use these things. That's good. There is a problem here. I can assure you, a web application firewall, even the best one you can find in the world right now, even API management, they are not able to cover all this threat at all. Because some of them, after the session, if happy to spend more time with you and maybe going deeper for some question and things about this. But some of these attacks, they are completely outside control of web application firewall, the things. Like, for instance, improper asset management. Can a web application firewall understand if developers are actually managing versioning an API properly? No, there is no way. Mass assignment, which means people that, I mean, you can actually able to work and play and put more property inside an API and get different result. Web application firewall cannot understand something like that. That's impossible. This is not a threat. You're actually using an API right now, so it's not a problem. And many of these things. So this is where the problem is coming right now. How you can actually control something like that. How you can actually look about the API and think about, is this API or how I'm using API secure? The only way to do that right now is using human, a hacker, who is going, a cybersecurity specialist is going to look about the API, how they work, is going to use tools, things, is going to investigate. Is going actually to try to hack things, an API, and look about what actually can be wrong. And after that, fix it. This is super cool slide. This is a gift for you. This is how hacker think. This is how hacker attack. That's for real. So this is the strategy. You can see in the middle, in the center, here, where is it? I hate this thing. Where is it? Okay. Anyway, in the center, in the core, we have human and database. What you see here in the is the company, your company. How hacker move? Hacker move by layer. You have different layer in your company. It's the very most external one. Is the internet presence. You are on internet with your company, right? So this is where everything starts. When a hacker starts attacking your company, what he's doing is looking at your company, your internet presence around, what you do in the company, the contact, website, everything, your social account, everything is going to look about you are working in the company, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have all these things. He's collecting everything, everything. He's spending time collecting this information. And after that, when he got everything, then he started looking about how I can attack the company. And going layer by layer by layer. Each layer to each layer belong something, is responsible for something. So in the middle here, gateway, we have firewall, intrusion prevention system, and so on, proxies, accessible services layer. We have the configuration, functionality, port. Inside we have process, we have a task, process data, source, all these things. And more inside we have the privilege layer where we are, you know, with the user group, all the things. And even more inside, that is the core. What hackers are looking for. Because inside the core there are computers, people. There are people and data. And that is the important thing for the hacker. How a hacker attack? In this way, there is a starting point, which is the external one, usually. This is a classic kind of attack. And he get in, he started doing what we call a lateral movement. He's going to do lateral movement across the perimeter. He's going to find a vulnerability. When he found a vulnerability, then all the square you see here is a vulnerability. Got the vulnerability, is go inside, look for other vulnerability, and so on. Is get in, until he's able to actually access inside the core and get the core. So coming back now, this is, I'm going the point. API is here. This is the layer usually where API is inside the company. The point about API is that API actually usually expose an external endpoint because it's a service. You need to provide service. And the API is usually directly communicating with the core because it's actually providing services. So it's reading data or it's doing stuff internally inside the company. So you can imagine what nice target is for a hacker because If you hack the API, you go across all this layer in one shot, directly, immediately. You are inside the core of the company. That's really good. And this is why hackers, they look about attack people. People are one of the first targets for hacker. Why? Look, where is people? Where is the person? The person is inside the core. So if you are able to attack a person and exploit a person, you are inside the core of the company. You get the computer of the employee, which is inside the company. Why? This is why it's so important. Let's go for a demo now. I'm going for some demos. I recorded this demo. So this is the first one. And I want to show you here. This is what I'm doing here is showdown.io. This is a portal indexing everything around the internet, endpoint. It's the Google of endpoint. This is public, you can play with it. And you can see here, I do some search for API. Look how many API. Just showdown, 4 million, just doing that search. Okay? This one is another one, you know this portal, right? This is GitHub. I'm doing search in GitHub. What I'm going to search in GitHub is API key exposed. This is, you can do this at office. Look at the result. What I do, I look for not repository. Look at what I'm going to click. Issues. Why? Because people speak inside GitHub, developer. And I'm going to look about things, discussion, across developer. I go along and check and see, oh, what they're doing. Oh, look at this guy here. So I'm going to click this one. Oh, this guy, hey, I changed the API key expose. Hey, look at this. Look, is he here? You need to change this. I click in the link and I found the keys. This is the API keys. For real. If you go in GitHub, when you're back in office today, go in GitHub and play with it. You will find a lot of things. This is public. I can't do this in public now in recording because it's public. I'm not doing anything wrong. This is actually existing, right? So let's go with this one. This is a tool I normally use to get weakness inside the code, the API code, all these kind of things. And this is Trufflehog, very nice names everywhere with hacking. And what this does is going to scan code, API, these kind of things, and trying to look. All you see here, they are actually keys, password, private keys, any kind of this sensitive information you can find across the code. Here there are several passwords. This is a private key. That was a private key from an API. I'm actually scanning now a public repo in GitHub. And other private keys. This is GitHub. I'm not doing this to a private company right now. Of course not during a session in streaming. This is public, so it's something you can even do by your own if you want to try and experiment with these things. And this is what we call reconnaissance in hacking. We go inside, we collect data. I like to tell you something very important here. Get this, this is a very important thing. Security, cybersecurity, is not the guy attacking, right? The real hacker, the people attacking, the specialists, they are not people that just is not scanning things, but gathering data and looking at the data. That's his cybersecurity. So the job is about doing the things, collect as much information you can, and after that start analyzing everything and look about the weakness. That is how actually it works. This type of attack is actually really interesting. On the right you see here a website. This is a website for selling part of car, machine, all these kind of things. This is actually how a hacker is going to attack the company website, right? So on the right, you see myself I'm started using the website, but first I'm going to open what we call a proxy. In the left, we have a tool, Bullsuite, used by hacker and cybersecurity specialists to scan services, all these kind of things. What it's going to do, during I'm navigating in a website, on the left, I'm taking everything what's happening behind the scene. What you see here is actually what is actually happening behind this website. The website is using things, is communicating with services. And most of them, I can guarantee you, there are API, all API calls. So what I do, I run from the website, I try to buy a product, everything, do things, do kind of stuff. And after that, what I do, okay, let me see what I've been able to collect. So I'm going around and check and check and check. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, this is an API. It's calling product with a get. That's okay. So I send this one to a repeater. The repeater is permitting me to repeat the things. I'm doing exactly the same call. And what I see, this API is actually using a post method. It's not just a get, it's permitting a post. So what I'm doing, let me try to use a post. So I'm changing here on the top, the get from post, okay? And what I do is, let me see, let's try to put some JSON here. You see, they're using this stuff and click. Oh, I get a response. It means the post is working, it's doing things. May I do more than that? May I do more attack with that? Yeah, so I'm going to look in the website, and looking at the website here is, yeah, sorry, let me take, it's getting too fast. I was doing, where is my mouse now? Oh yeah, is there, okay, cool. Let me, because it's important you understand this point. So what I do here, I actually copy this part of data because I know it's used by the developer, and I put in here, and I change in top in post. So I'm doing a different things. I'm posting data. I'm trying to say, yeah, I'm giving you this data. What are you going to do? And because I sent this, and I see that actually it's working, it's giving me an answer. So what I can do now, I try to trick. I can't trick this. It's actually looks it's working. It's doing things. What I can do? What do you would do here in a situation like that? It looks like the website, the API. This is not the way. This is the API. The API is actually replying to me something. They say, yeah, that's okay. This is a good operation. It's not an error, right? So what would you would do here in this situation? You have this data. You have the name, the ID, the name, the price, and the URL of a product. What you're going to do here? What? Think like a hacker. Bam. Attack the website right now. What do you do?
Change the price.
God. Who did that? Who said that? Change the price. You are a hacker. Boom. Yeah. Change the price is one of the first things. Why? Because it's money. What I can do? Money. You know, that's good. Well, there are different type of hacker. If you are lucky, you get the good hacker and the good criminal. I would say it's not a real hacker. They are criminal. We need to be honest, guys. Don't stop calling people hacker. They are criminal. They are not hacker. Okay? Hacker are good people. They are not bad people. Criminal are bad people. The people doing that, they are criminal. Okay? So, yeah. So let's change the price. So let's put something here. Here, I'm going to find for an image, something I can put for the product. So because I'm a funny hacker, I'm going to look for a chicken picture instead of using a car picture, because I like to do that. Some hackers, they like, to be, scenery. I do things, and people say, hey, this was fun. This is how. So this is why I've done that. So, and after that, I'm going to change the price. I'm going to put the price in minus 1,000. Minus 1,000, right? So, and after that, I'm going to post again in the website. Click the post. Actually, now, do you get the point what I'm doing here? I actually working with API. I'm not even touching the website. And this is the point. A lot of companies around, even security companies, they look about these things about the website, external things, not behind. I don't care about website. I care about this. I'm working exactly with the same functionality right now. So I'm going ahead and I put a post now, and actually it works fantastically. So what I'm doing now, I'm going back in the website. I'm going to scroll, and I have the balance 120 now for my account. I go down, I got the chicken here, minus 1,000, I click buy, I just bought it, okay? I bought the chicken, right, okay? And after that, what I'm capable to do now is, let's check now what is going on for my account. And now I have 1,120 in my, okay, available balance. This is one classical attack happen, all right? This is mass assignment. This is why this happened. It's nothing magic, not at all. This is bad coding, that's it. Happen a lot around. Nothing more than that. Do you think a web application firewall can exploit this, can get this? No, does not have any idea, right? So let's go ahead with this one. I think it's the last one. So in this one, I'm going to show you something completely different. This back. Okay, think about this. And now I'm going to blow up your mind. When you do things, you deploy things, you do stuff, everything, all you do, all right? This is something in time. Everything is in time. What we are doing here is now. You need to realize one thing. In the hacker world, there is no time. We can travel across time. Hacker can travel across time, can do that, all right? So one of the things we do, and I super love this website, I don't know how many of you know about the website, is the Wayback Machine. How many of you know about Wayback Machine? 1, 2. Okay, using this website, you're actually capable to travel in time, in internet. So an example here, I'm going to the Microsoft website, and I click on the Microsoft website, and I'm going to travel in the time. You can see here, everything is being recorded by Microsoft website. I'm clicking 2004, I click one of the time inside, and I click OK, and I'm going to travel back in 2004. And this is actually going to be the Microsoft website in 2004. And this is real, it's Microsoft website in 2004. I'm super serious on that. So why I'm showing you this? Why do you think I'm showing you this? Any hacker you have to try here? Okay, the point is because we can actually travel back in time and looking about your website 1 year before, or 2 years before, or 3 years before, where actually you were fixing things about API or security things. So what we look is like 1 year before, 2 years before, and see if we find weakness. And because there is improper asset management in the API, many times people leave and companies leave old version of API public. Version 1 is still public, is still working, right? So what a hacker is going to do is going to try to exploit your version 1 of API. He's actually getting exactly the same result. He can actually hack the company with that, all right? So let's just switch now and what we can do to look about this. What we do, Contica now, is offering several things and several type of operation. One is, and this is is the most important because the topic today is the Red Team API assessment. Red Team assessment means red is the attack side of security. So what means is Red Team is going to look about the API posture inside the company, is going to try to attack the API stack. And look about all of these type of things and vulnerability. This is actually the operation we do, like API discovery, vulnerability scanning, authentication attack, exploiting, and so on. There are different type of assessment also, and we covering, you see here, most all of them, of course, they specialize API penetration testing, and most important, we also have vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, source code penetration test, which is something very specific for source coding. We look inside the source code and we scan the source code everywhere and we look for vulnerability, any type of vulnerability inside the source code. But not just that, it's also social engineering. Social engineering, this is something I truly love. This is one of my core. Any hacker has some area of specialization because it's a very complex topic. This is one of my top. I love this. It's OSINT, open source intelligence. When you go inside and you do social engineering, you look for exploit for people, companies, information, things. And this is one of the most important, I would say, weakness to check inside the company, the social engineering. Usually it's a black box testing, where you actually attack a company without any information, and you try to go inside and get any type of information you can find for the company. Governance, if you have, or you using cloud, Azure, that's what we do. We do governance baseline and security baseline, which means we look at your security, at your cloud posture, all, and we look about the governance and security. And we look about providing a baseline. Baseline is, the terminology means, is going to be the less acceptable level of this, which means it can be governance or security. And after that, you can start to go up and do more. Okay? How a cybersecurity assessment work? We do a discovery workshop where we discuss together, we look about, it's going to be it's like a free discussion with people across the company and looking about everything, checking about the business, understanding the business, because the business and security, they need to go together. That's super important, right? You cannot go and jump in a company and do, just use this, use that, because everything may affect also the business of the company, so it's super important. And after we go for reconnaissance, we investigate, look about the data, everything. When we collect all the data, we go for an analysis. We're going to analyze all the data. What I show you today, it was about looking about everything, possible weakness, all these things. And after, we provide an output for the assessment. This is the most important part because, we provide outside what actually we found. And after, more important is the playback. It's not just about providing a report. We play back. We play back with you what we found, the weakness, everything. And especially, there is any security person here working in security? This is what we do with the security guys. So with the security guys, we sit with them and we look together and say, hey guys, this is what we found. We've been able to exploit this, get this in this way. So they can actually understand, say, oh, okay, so let's do this and this to protect all these things. A good thing is, Contica has a very historical knowledge and expertise on integration. This is one of the sides I really loved on my mind is if in security you need to work in red and blue team, always. Not just red and blue, okay? I am the red. I'm also blue because I have a very historic experience on integration. People used to call me the Bristol Grange in the past. So I spent many years working this stuff, all right? But of course, inside Contica, we have a lot of people with a strong expertise on integration. These are actually the blue team. So in case, we are also capable to provide the expertise, you know, and working with you to fix things if there are problems in API or other things, and looking about how we can solve this problem, how we can protect this in the best way. The output is a lot, depending by the assessment and all these kind of things, but it's going to be a report, and it's going to be a very deep cyber security evaluation, which is going to be, people love a lot of this, so the report, we're going to do vulnerability scan detail report, a lot of things, right? So you can imagine after a cybersecurity assessment what can be an output. It's quite extensive, to be honest. So why a cybersecurity assessment? I leave you this slide. You will have this slide with you, so you can actually, you know, looking deeper, or even get my videos and try in office some of the things I show you. But it's because we help you and the company to get a really good understanding about your cybersecurity posture inside the company. That's what I want to say. That is why it's so important to do that. All right, and only a cybersecurity person can actually, a hacker can actually do that in the best way, right? So this is a very good opportunity for you. What we like to offer you, do you remember what I showed you about the assessment? We like to offer you today the possibility to conduct a half a day of discovery workshop. So it's one of the first phase, right? So it's going to be a discussion, it's going to be a check, it's going to be something that's going to discuss. And of course it's going to be me, the person. So you're going to do a discovery workshop with myself, all right? So the good thing is it's free, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity. So there's nothing to lose, to be honest. So it's something that you can easily just say, yeah, let's do it. Let's have this half a day, discovery workshop, have a chat with Nino and see what's happened, right? So the good things about this is getting the opportunity for half a day to get the most important people. They are very keen about security, all the things, and put all of them in a room for half a day. And I can guarantee you from this half a day, usually you get an outcome. Like for sure, you're going to get some kind of understanding about, okay, we got this. There is A, B, C, D. And you may decide after that what you want to do, okay? This is the cybersecurity, part of the cybersecurity team. Robin is not here. I don't know where is Robin. He's not here. Okay, anyway. This Robin, Anya, and Ruth. So, and if you want to know more about the discovery workshop, you can speak with me, you can speak with Stefan. Today, I'm here, so if you want to do more after this chat, you want to do more, something more practical, experimenting with me, feel free to do that. All right? Question? Don't be shy. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
We need to practice this more.
Take this.
Okay. Thank you, Nino. Very interesting. And I'm just going to finish up with saying that we are here until, if you want to mingle and have a cup of coffee more and talk a little bit with Nino until 10 o'clock. So feel free. Thank you for coming, and hope this was interesting for you. It's a lot of, for me, it's a lot of threats there, but the good thing is that you can do a lot of preventive work to take issues on those threats. So that's something we can talk about, of course. So once again, thank you for coming, and let's have a cup of coffee.